Welcome to historic Hinkle Fieldhouse just north of downtown Indianapolis, the epicenter of college basketball this weekend. And we've got the second of two NIT semifinals. Illinois State out of the MVC, Auburn out of the SEC for a trip to the championship game. They will take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, who reached the title on the back of 12 made threes in their victory over New Mexico, and now Tulsa has won 10 of their last 11 games. They await the winner of Auburn and Illinois State for a date in Sunday's championship in downtown Indianapolis. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Fran Fraschilla, Taylor Tannenbaum will join us in just a moment. Coach, you've been part of this event for so many years. It's so special when you get to play in April, regardless of what the tournament is.
There's no question about it. You got to get over the disappointment of not being in the big dance and keep your season alive. For Auburn, Matt, it wasn't easy early, but they've really rallied. Great leadership by Keyshawn Hall. And then Illinois State, they are absolutely thrilled to be 2 hours from home with a great fan base here.
Well, they've won 3 straight games to get to this point, all in different ways. Led Wake Forest by as many as 9 with 9 minutes to go. Trailed big in the Dayton game, found a way to come away with the victory. They did it all, Coach, behind the all-conference big man, Chase Walker.
I love the way this young man plays. He reminds me of a young Zach Randolph, young man from Columbus, Ohio, left-handed, wide-bodied, a lot of girth, short touch around the rim, and a very inspiring story of how he got himself into great basketball shape.
Meanwhile, on the other side, the Auburn Tigers won 3 straight games at home. The last 2 against Seattle and Nevada by single digits. Now that they're here, despite the disappointment, they want to win this thing, and the man who stirs the drink, Keyshawn Hall, one of the top scorers in the SEC.
I'm a big fan of Keyshawn Hall. Watched him play at UCF last year. This year he's been a bucket getter. He can score outside. He can score in the mid-range, in transition. He really gets to the foul line as well. And you're not going to stop him. You might slow him down, but it's going to be hard to stop Keyshawn Hall tonight.
He's been a star all year for first-year head coach Stephen Pearl, replacing the great Bruce Pearl. For more on the young Sun coach, Taylor Tannenbaum.
Matt, you mentioned the word disappointment. Stephen Pearl does not shy away from the fact that Selection Sunday was not a great day at Auburn. So many emotions, but despite that, he was adamant they would be playing in the NIT, and he framed it like this for his guys. 1, so many teams wish they could still be playing. We get to. 2, if you're coming back to Auburn next year, what can you show me now that can translate to next season? And 3, if you plan on leaving, this is a chance for you to put something on tape. And he also was straight up with his team. Everyone is expecting you as the #1 seed to go out there, lay an egg, and not care. He said, what a chance to prove people otherwise. And so far, guys, they've done that. 2 wins away from winning it all.
So many new players this year, Taylor. 10 of them brand new to the program, 9 underclassmen. It's the fewest number of returning starts since 2000 for Auburn. They will take on a much more veteran Illinois State team led by Chase Walker, who wins the opening tip for ISU in the red, Auburn in the white.
And Auburn not a big team. Keyshawn Murphy left the team. Philippe Jovic is going to play inside.
Here is Elijah Freeman, lengthy Division II transfer. It's an Auburn starting lineup that has mixed and matched all year. Stephen Pearl toying with different combinations, really likes the one he has right now. And there is Freeman with a tap-back jam.
He's a tremendous athlete. Played at Lincoln Memorial last year, D2 as you mentioned, Matt.
Well, this Illinois State team featuring a very strong and veteran starting lineup, finished 3rd in the Missouri Valley. Best finish of the Ryan Peden era. Now in his 4th year as the head coach. Hall knocks down a contested 3.
I'll tell you, this young man is a bucket. Has really improved his body over 4 years. Led the Big 12 in scoring last year and had another great season on the Plains this year.
5th in the SEC, averaged nearly 20 points per game for Auburn this year. who lost 9 of their final 12 games and were listed as first 4 out, according to Joe Lunardi. Extra possession here for ISU. Inside Walker. Back out Claybo. Knocks down a triple.
How about the young man from North Dakota? The all-time leading scorer in that state.
A couple of North Dakota young men on this ISU roster.
Yep, Skunberg. Kevin Overton's played really well lately for Stephen Pearl.
Played against Illinois State a few years ago as a Drake Bulldog. Missing Jovic on the bounce pass.
I've been impressed with Jovic in the NIT. He's really stepped up, young man from Bosnia.
Back-to-back double-digit scoring performances for Filip Jovic, a freshman, one of 9 underclassmen for Stephen Pearl. Kinziger, one of the great scorers at ISU over the last 2 years. Skunberg, good from downtown.
Johnny Kinziger getting in the paint, and Skunberg snuck behind the defense.
A very pro-Illinois State crowd. As Fran mentioned, just a 2-hour drive. Freeman has his second bucket.
Nicely done. We call that a hostage dribble. The defender on the screener is back in the lane, so when you come off the ball screen, you keep your man on your back and you hold him hostage.
Open 3. Wolf off the back iron. Freeman the rebound. Finds Kevin Overton, who's been a big shot maker this year for Auburn in close losses and big wins. Pettiford 3. Has not been his best from downtown this year, but has done an excellent job in his first year as the starting point guard, running the offense for the Tigers. Jovic scoops up the loose ball. Pettiford pitch. KO 3. Got it.
What I do like about Pettiford is played really well lately. Playing more like a point guard early in the year. So much pressure on him, Matt, to show NBA teams that he was the guy that we saw in the Final Four last year. Great freshman year. Much better in the last month of the season.
Had such a big role on that team coming off the bench for Auburn. Kinziger, his second 3.
Chase Walker hasn't gotten going yet, but that time, good inside-out pass by the big fella.
Illinois State has the ability to stroke it 35% from downtown over the course of the regular season. But defense was their calling card. And there's an interception by Wolf. Close to an over and back there.
No, that's right. Wasn't, but it was close. Good job by Jovic. He's keeping Walker from catching that ball deep in the paint.
Almost picked by Jovic. Wolf with 5. Kinziger had it knocked out of bounds by Pettiford. Rapid start. Auburn's made 4 of their last 5. Illinois State's hit 3 big threes. It's a 1-point game in Hinkle. Auburn Tigers were very likely the first team out of the field of 68. They had some heartbreakers, including this. Kevin Overton ties the game, 0.7 seconds against Georgia, sending it to overtime. The Bulldogs ultimately would come away with a win. Then 3 days later, Keyshawn Murphy thinks he's got a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. However, it was reviewed and ultimately waved off in the sudden 2-point home loss to Texas A&M. 2 of many, Fran, excruciating quad 1 losses for Auburn that probably ultimately kept Stephen Pearl out of the big dance.
When you play 35 or so games and your whole season comes down to 0.4, 0.3, whatever, it's heartbreaking. And we know this for a fact because Stephen Pearl told us yesterday. His team had to be cajoled into playing. They were not thrilled about being in this tournament, but they've really rallied, and they've got great leadership from Keyshawn Hall.
Step back three, Ty Pence banks it in at the horn. They call him Tournament Ty. He has been exceptional in each of the last 3 tournaments Illinois State has played in, including the CBI, which they won a year ago.
I think they've got 6 straight postseason wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Longest active postseason winning streak in the country for Illinois State. Overton, second triple, falling to the seat of his pants.
I once called Kevin Overton a role player at Texas Tech. He was not happy with me. we hashed it out yesterday at practice, and in the last part of the season, Kevin has played anything but like a role player. 17 points a game his last 10, and really a great team leader. Remember, he started at Drake for Ben McCollum, and then played last year for Grant McCaslin at Texas Tech. So he's been well schooled.
6-man type at Texas Tech last year in the midst of their Elite 8 run. Count it, and the foul. Tyreek Coleman, the freshman for Illinois State.
He is a precocious young player. Once top 10 high school players in the state of Illinois, which is a heck of an accomplishment. But really has some skill, and you can see right there the athleticism going to the hole.
That was the first 2-point attempt for Illinois State in this game. They've hit 4 threes. And they lead by 1. Magwood, short with the left hand. Lead could not corral. Williams-Adams fighting for it. It's going back the other way. Well, you talked about Auburn's disappointment not being here. It was the flip for Illinois State. They were thrilled to get a last-minute bid in the NIT. It's the deepest they've been in program history, minus winning the CBI last year.
Great young coach Ryan Peden. Great bloodlines. Butler University, Chris Holtman. Ohio State, John Gross at Illinois. Got a great coaching future. Coleman dancing.
Inside to the big man, Lieb. Push shot, right hand won't go. Tapped out by Lieb. Saved it, but stepped out of bounds.
And Brandon Lieb, former Illinois Fighting Illini, 3 years there, redshirted a year. Big guy, and a great backup for Chase Walker, Matt.
Staying down the street from his former team, who's in town to play in the other Final Four.
He's got a lot of friends on that team, no doubt.
Hall, hounded by Ty Pence. Had that early contested 3. Spins through the defense, lays it in with a scoop.
He's a bucket. I love watching Keyshawn Hall. This is a young man that really got himself into shape coming out of high school. He's going to play next year in the NBA somewhere. He'll come off the bench for somebody and drop 14 and a quarter. Wow.
Wow, right. Kinzinger.
That looked like a guy Charles Barkley played with, John Stockton.
Sir Charles in attendance tonight.
Yep.
Williams-Adams 3, got it.
Oh, this is a good young freshman. Out of Houston, coached by Josh Boone in high school, former UConn star, NBA player. In fact, mom was a McDonald's All-American.
How about this pace to start? Both teams shooting above 60% from the floor and above 60% from 3. Tie up underneath. It's going to go against Brandon Lieb, sending KO to the floor.
Keyshawn Hall can score so many different ways. He's got the jump shot. He's got the mid-range. Gets into the paint. And this right here, this is John Stockton-esque. Former Utah Jazz star. And then we mentioned the freshman, Sebastian Williams-Adams. Played a lot of minutes this year for Stephen Pearl.
And I beg your pardon, they called the foul on Overton, taking the bigger lead to the floor. So it stays with ISU. Walker back into the game. Backing down Williams-Adams. Heavy with the 2. And here comes Pettiford in a flash. Pettiford trying to go hammer time. And draws a shooting foul of the 2-point variety.
Take a look, watch now. Coming at you, Tahad Pettiford from Jersey City, New Jersey. Trying to hammer it home, as you said. And we talked about this. I saw the best game of his career last year. I think he was 23, dropped in his second college game against Houston. 22 or 23. Unguardable. Came off the bench for that great Final Four team. And Matt, one thing that people don't talk about with Stephen Pearl's club, they lost so many good players on that team that went to the Final Four. Janai Broome, Chaney Johnson's in the NBA. Janai's played with the Sixers this year. That was a really deep team, and they lost a lot.
He is the lone returner from last year's Final Four team. And Fran, he's a sophomore. So much on his shoulders this year. Still is an underclassman.
I don't think he handled it well early. But the last month of the season, look at his hands.
He's been a different player, hasn't he been?
Give it up.
Wins it back
There
for
it is.
Auburn. Here he is. This time he'll lay it in.
Yeah, nice job by Elijah Freeman. Came up with that loose ball, but good defense by Tahad Pettiford.
6-0 Tiger run. They lead 21-16. Less than 12 minutes to go in the opening half. Winner will get Tulsa in Sunday's NIT championship.
That should have been a kick ball. Yep.
And it was whistled underneath. It'll be Illinois State ball when we return. Packed house at Hinkle Fieldhouse for our second semifinal. Illinois State has won 20 games or more in back-to-back seasons for the first time in over a decade under fourth-year head coach Ryan Peden. Said great progression in his 4 seasons at Illinois State. This year, Fran, while we've seen that they can shoot it, defense was really the calling card in the midst of a season that led them to a 3rd-place finish in the MVC.
Almost the opposite of last year. When I talked to Ryan over the weekend, he said that was our mantra. We had to get better defensively. And they've definitely done that. They can still score the ball.
On the wrong end of a 6-0 run. Tried to get it into Walker. Stolen by Williams-Adams. Here's Michalek. Gives it up. Hall. It's an 8-0 run for the Tigers.
Bruce Pearl told us early in the year that Blake Michalek, the young man out of Dallas, is his best perimeter defender. And you saw right there why he's in the game.
Began his career as a walk-on for Bruce Pearl, the father of Stephen Pearl, and that stops the run.
Once Bruce told me that, and I asked Stephen about it, he said, no, my dad's absolutely right. He's a great on-ball defender.
Pettiford, Freeman, no. Had a couple of early buckets right around the rim. Misses with a 3. Here's Coleman.
Chase Walker hasn't been able to get going yet.
Walker, left hand.
He's got a little bit of that Zebo game. Little Zach Randolph in there. Nice cut.
Backdoor feed. There's Michalek.
Yeah. Beautiful pass by Williams-Adams.
We'll be back in 30 seconds. Stephen Pearl loving what he's seeing from his team to start. For the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. A fantastic Final Four again this year on the women's side. In fact, it features all 4 participants from last year.
Yep. Gino and UConn won it last year after a drought. I think it was 16 when they won it last.
They have been to the Final Four 18 straight years if you throw out the COVID year. Meanwhile, Coleman has impressed you to start.
Yes, he has. Young man from up in the Chicago area. Really athletic, can score, can play point.
Jovic will take it off the bounce against Walker. Slips it in past the 6'9", 280-pound junior from Columbus, Ohio.
Last 2 NIT games, he's averaging 15 and 7. Nearly 70% from the field. He's getting a chance to play in the absence of Keyshawn Murphy, who basically walked away from the team.
Picked up by Kevin Overton. Pettiford so fast. Lob to Hall. Hammer time.
That's the kind of point guard play that Tahad Pettiford has given this team over the last month of the season. And you saw Keyshawn Hall with that athleticism.
Coleman kicks to Kinziger. Trying to get past Michalek. Took a bump. No. Walker right place, right time.
Chase Walker, what a great story. 405 pounds as a high school sophomore. Think about that.
Pettiford counted in the foul. 4-point play opportunity for the preseason All-American.
Finding himself late in the year. Take a look right here. Coleman with a little bump. Great concentration by the sophomore from Hudson Catholic High School.
And Fran, you talked about maybe early in the year struggling with not only the responsibility, but the notoriety as the only returner from last year's Final Four. Three-point shooting has really bothered him this year. He's been frustrated by it. Feels like he's playing free tonight.
He's been doing this for the last month, and it's great to see. He thought about coming out, going to the NBA after his freshman year, decided to go back. Pence loves to post up and wants to turn around here. He loves the turnaround.
That's a silky fadeaway jumper.
Yep. That's his game right there. Young man who grew up not far from campus. A lot of family members are Redbirds.
Pettiford long, run out for Coleman, who can move. Coleman.
Pretty.
Right into the chest of Overton.
That's how you take it to a defender. The defender's backing up. He can't get legal. So you go right at his chest, Matt. Perfectly done.
Overton splash.
Oh, man.
Both teams shooting near 70% from the floor.
Kevin has been on fire lately. He's near 50% over the last part of the season, last 10 games.
He has scored 20 or more in 6 of Auburn's last 9 games. Coleman off the bounce. Extra pass, Skunberg 3. Got it.
Boy, this is fun. Folks, it's April 2nd, and these two teams are playing their hearts out. This is why you love the NIT.
Illinois State has been to the NIT 15 times. They've never been to the semifinal. This is their first trip.
Little zone now by Illinois State.
Pettiford splits it. Push shot, good.
Oh boy, he's on fire. Ryan Peden went to the zone as the curveball because Auburn was knocking that fastball out of the park, the man-to-man.
Pettiford with 9 early points to go along with 3 assists. Pence, right hand rejected by Overton. What a start for the Auburn Tigers.
Unselfish basketball right here, coast to coast. Take a look and watch Keyshawn Hall. He used to be hefty, now he's svelte, playing above the rim.
Back from Indianapolis, Auburn Tigers with a 7-point lead. They've made 6 of their last 7 shots. Taylor Tannenbaum is sitting with 2 legends of the Auburn Tigers.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just found a couple of guys sitting courtside. Auburn legends, Bruce Pearl, a.k.a. Dad now, and Charles Barkley. I'll start with you because now you're on this side watching and your son's over there coaching. What's it like for you in this position now?
Well, my main responsibility is to stay off the officials.
It's hard, huh?
And make sure that Uncle Chuck has got everything he needs because this is family right here. Now, I am so proud of Steven and so proud of this coaching staff and what they've done and how they've embraced being in the NIT and understanding what an amazing tournament this is, and I love how they're finishing off their season.
As an alum and a proud alum of this program, what did you make of the decision by Steven Pearl to say, hey, we're going to be playing in this NIT despite the Selection Sunday disappointment?
What else are you going to do? You love playing basketball, and most people don't know the NIT is a very prestigious tournament. At one point, it was more important than March Madness. People don't even know that. But what else are these kids going to do? They play basketball. You love to play basketball.
So what are we seeing right now? Because Auburn, has a 38-31 lead. Give me your vantage point.
Well, Auburn's playing very well, obviously. You know, the kid Walker, man, I'm proud of the kid. They told me he lost a lot of weight. I'm proud of him. They can't leave him. They got to let him play one-on-one in the post. I would love to see Auburn speed the tempo up. They're shooting a tremendous percentage from three-point land right now. But I think they got a better team, but I would like to see them not make it close because the three-point shot has equalized college basketball. And Illinois State will always be able to stay in the game unless we speed the tempo up.
I like it. Coach, you're watching this unfold. I'll call you Dad because the coach is over there on the other side. What are you seeing, though, right now on the floor from the Tigers and from Illinois State?
Yeah, I'm seeing both teams playing great offense. I mean, this is fun to watch. They're getting great shots. They're making great shots. They're playing hard defensively. Both teams are shooting like 70%. There's really high-quality basketball. I think the team that eventually sits down and starts guarding a little bit, not the team that comes out on top.
The Boo Birds are out, and none from you, Bruce Pearl.
Well, this is like a home crowd now for Illinois State. You know, Bloomington is just right down the road, but it's great basketball. Charles was saying, this is where Hoosiers were shot right here. We kind of feel like we're watching Hoosiers out there, except I can't find. I'm looking for Jimmy Chitwood.
I tell you what, man, this Illinois State team, I think we're a little bit more physical, but man, we cannot leave them wide open for jumpers because watching those guys shoot that thing, I feel like I'm watching Hoosiers. I agree with Bruce on that.
It's only appropriate because we're here at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
It's one of the greatest moves of all time with the late, great Gene Hackman, I might add.
I think this might be a bad time, Fran and Matt, for me to admit that I've never seen the movie Hoosiers despite living in Indianapolis. I'm going to let these guys go and watch basketball. Coach, Charles, appreciate you.
Ridiculous you never watch Hoosiers.
I think I made an enemy, guys. I know.
I can't believe that you're actually going to turn the mic over to Fran when you have an opportunity to be there with Charles Barkley. I mean, how often does ESPN get Charles Barkley?
Two stars.
I used to watch him coach when I was a little kid. He was amazing.
Did he just age you, Fran? I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. And I think, by the way, Taylor Tannenbaum has an assignment between the semifinals and the championship.
I think so.
Hoosiers in the hotel room.
Yeah. And as we're watching this game and getting back to the game, I just want people to know Charles Barkley is one of the best people you will ever meet. Matt, he's so generous to people when you would never expect it. And that was so cool that they got a chance to do that with Taylor.
No doubt. Great to have them here. So many dignitaries in the crowd tonight for both programs, NCAA, people that are in town for the March Madness Final Four, trickling over for the semifinal tonight, which starts a mad weekend of basketball in Indianapolis. Here's Freeman, push shot with 5. Off the mark, Hall battling, banks it in.
Telling you, man, he's one of my favorite players in college basketball. Got to know him through the years. Kid from Cleveland. Like Chase Walker, he was a very heavy kid as a high school player.
And he leads all scorers with 13 points on 6 of 7. Pettiford with the foul. Auburn with their largest lead of the game at 10. It sure has, Kevin. Appreciate it. And Fran, I know we've talked a lot about Arizona being here as you get a look at Auburn's numbers tonight. 67% from the floor. Your thoughts on Tommy Lloyd and the rumors circulating Final Four weekend?
I just don't see it. I would say don't mess with Happy. Move mom and dad to Tucson. I mean, that's a blue blood program. North Carolina's great. But I love this big kid. Look at this kid. Look at this kid. Chase Walker. Smooth. Svelte. Moving like a guy that's 280. And Taylor Tannenbaum's going to have more on him later. And he's been on that Chuck Barkley diet.
Very proud of the work that he's put in.
Yeah.
And the energy with which he plays,
yes,
Fran, is infectious.
Yeah, I said Zach Randolph. Take a look. Left-handed. Watch him do work inside. Great hands. Good finish.
You just mentioned the evolution of Chase Walker in his 3 years at Illinois State. When he got to campus, he was 325 pounds, and that's when his transformation began. He teamed up with his strength coach, Ryan Swenson, director of sports nutrition, Sarah Wright, a few others. They set goals every morning and every night. He stayed consistent. Now he's 275, which was his goal from day one. And guys, he says on the floor, he feels that he moves so much better in transition. Those second and third efforts for rebounds come easier. And his meal plan, Fran and Matt, insane. 250 grams of protein every day.
I like it.
I couldn't do it.
I can't do it this weekend. I'm going to some steakhouses. We're not doing that, but you know what I love? Remember the relationship between Chase Walker and Ryan Peden, who was an assistant coach at Ohio State. Ryan went to Bexley High School, their arch rival, St. Charles in Bexley, and that's the home of Chase Walker. Really, you know, Chuck Barkley said how proud he is of the young man because Chuck dealt with that when he was in college. And to watch this kid play, first team all Missouri Valley 2 years in a row, he's a, oh, yeah, that's a good call. Good call.
He's whistled for the foul, the big fella, getting tied up with Sebastian Williams-Adams.
Good effort by the freshman Adams. Take a look inside now. Yeah, that's an easy call. Wrapped him up.
And now 9 turnovers on ISU to Auburn's 3. That has really been the story of this game. Those extra possessions for Auburn, which they've taken advantage of.
Yeah, 18 points, Matt. Oh, good pass.
Hall has been dominant tonight.
That was a zone offense play. And I'm going to tell you something, coaches out there. When people go zone, you demoralize them when you can get it into the teeth of the zone and score at the rim. It's exactly what Stephen Pearl did right there.
Coleman off the bounce. Here comes Williams-Adams up to Overton, tries a transition 3. Oh yeah! Kevin Overton in his bag tonight, his 4th triple.
This is the Kevin Overton that Tiger fans have seen over the last 10 games.
Walker tries a 3. Way off the mark. Here's Hall. Slowing it down for Auburn.
They're slowing it down, Matt, but they've got 49 points.
Hall with 15 of them. Inside Williams-Adams draws a bump on Walker. That's number 2.
Kevin Overton, young man from Oklahoma City. He went to 2 straight NCAA tournaments at Drake, Texas Tech. This year he wanted a bigger role. He's gotten it. And he's stepping up big for Stephen Pearl.
And Fran, although we're showing highlights of him knocking down threes, which is certainly a big part of his game, he was always sort of known as the 3-and-D guy.
Yep.
But Coach Pearl believes his game has really expanded at Auburn this year.
Well, and I think that's why he transferred. He was, like you said, 6th man at Texas Tech.
Here comes Kinziger, Illinois State in the midst of a 2-minute scoring drought. And the length of Freeman bothering the Cardinals, the Redbirds rather.
Yeah, not a judicious play by a usually smart Johnny Kinziger.
10 ISU turnovers. Dagwood behind the back. Step back is nifty.
The freshman was in witness protection for 2 months, but over the last couple of games, he's been very good. Young man from Louisville.
Auburn's largest lead of the game, and a whistle on the defense. Well, the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Final Four begins Saturday, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on TBS. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Now, Frank, you asked me in the first game, who do I like?
Yep.
Who do you like this weekend in the Final Four?
You know, man, you put me on the spot because I love all 4 teams. I think Arizona's the best team in the tournament. And the winner of the game Saturday night, and that steal by Freeman. Anybody of those teams can win it. I'm partial to Arizona. I love Danny Hurley. As long as Danny's watching, I don't want to be mad at him. I might pick UConn. But right now, none of those teams are watching the NIT. They're preparing for Saturday.
Elijah Freeman has been an unsung hero in the first half for Auburn. Here he is with 5 to shoot. Kicks it out. Mashalik had it blocked by Claybo. Shot clock turned off. 12 seconds to go, opening half. Scunberg thought about it. Walled up by Mashalik. 5 seconds to go. Coleman double. Trying to get past Williams-Adams. 2 seconds. Flaps it up and in. Circus shot by the freshman to stop a 7-0 Auburn run and close the first half. What pace, what theater in the opening half of this second semifinal.
Illinois came out throwing punches. Auburn responded, but Auburn has staggered the Redbirds. Illinois State, excuse me, but they've staggered the Redbirds down the stretch. Really impressed with the Tigers.
Stephen Pearl is standing by with Taylor.
Tigers have a 13-point lead heading into the locker room. How would you describe that first half of play?
Offensively, we played really well, made a lot of shots. You know, defensively, we were a little uncharacteristic. We helped a little bit too much, and they got some shots off. But I thought we turned them over a good bit. You know, I think 10 or 11 turnovers in the first half. We did a good job of scoring off of them. So, got to continue it in the second half, and we got to continue to execute offensively.
You are a young team, but 2 of your upperclassmen, and Keyshawn Hall and Kevin Overton, have stepped up already in double figures. What are you seeing out of them?
They're just playing with freedom, having fun, just hooping. So, just got to keep doing that in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Taylor Tannenbaum, they absolutely have been hooping, in the words of Stephen Pearl. Maybe none better than this alley-oop from Pettiford to Hall, who led all scorers with 15. Kevin Connors, take it away. Welcome back to historic Hinkle Fieldhouse, the cathedral of college hoops in Indianapolis. Great first half, rapid first half between Illinois State and Auburn. The Tigers shot 65% from the floor. They lead at 51-38. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, the great Fran Fraschilla. Taylor Tannenbaum is with us as well. Coach, felt like any shot Auburn took in the first half, they hit.
Well, it did feel that way, but Illinois State turned it over too much. And that's something that Ryan Peden's going to address. Having said that, you're absolutely right. They got a lot of easy opportunities, but they also moved the ball well. And the way Overton and Hall have been playing at the end of the season has been absolutely terrific. Kevin Overton, 17 points a game, last 10. He wants to play the NIT. That stroke is automatic every time he releases it. And then Keyshawn Hall, he's a bucket. Can score from 3. Can score in the paint, and gets himself to the foul line. Great in transition.
He was 7 for 9 in the first half, had 15 to lead all scorers. You talked about the turnovers. 22 of Auburn's 51 points came off of 11 Redbird turnovers.
I think what's bothered Illinois State, we thought it might be the case, is the athleticism and length of the Auburn Tigers has certainly bothered the Redbirds, especially in the paint.
Taylor Tannenbaum chatted with Illinois State head coach Ryan Peden at the break.
Guys, I asked him straight up, what did you like in the first half? He said, not a whole lot. I did like when we shared the ball early. The quality of shot was much better, but we dribbled too much. Live ball turnovers, as you noted, killed us. On the defensive end, we have to impact the ball more. It feels like they're letting Auburn get to their spots way too easily. And he finished by saying, we are a physical defensive team. I know that, but I don't think you would have known that by watching that first half.
Well, Taylor, you would have known that because you told us about that today at the shoot-around, that Illinois State was going to have to be more physical, and Coach Peden is right on the money.
Defense was this team's calling card this year. Second in the Missouri Valley in defensive scoring defense. Put another turnover.
And you can't do that, Matt. If you want to be in this game, you cannot turn it over.
They're 12th of the game. Auburn shot 65% in the first half, 7 for 11 from downtown. Pettiford had a 3. Floater won't go. Walker the rebound.
First key for the Redbirds is don't turn it over. And get some looks maybe inside to Walker.
They were efficient too from the floor when they didn't turn it over. Shot 57%, 6 of 12 from beyond the arc. Walker offensive rebound, snatching it over the top of Pettiford. And he calls a timeout underneath. Doubled by Auburn. We will take the break with them. Illinois State ball when we return. Earlier tonight, Tulsa took down New Mexico for their 10th win in their last 11 games, behind 12-3. Shot over 40% from downtown. They led the American this year in threes, and Eric Hinkle has taken Tulsa back to the championship game, where they won it in 2001 when he was a student assistant for Buzz Peterson.
Exactly right. And then in '81, the great Nolan Richardson, he brought his junior college team, essentially all the key guys, to Tulsa, and they won the NIT in his first year.
Tulsa has been to the championship game 2 previous times. Both of those came home with hardware. Out of the Illinois State timeout, it's Walker with 5. Pitches to Scunberg. Tough 3 with a hand in his face. Hall has been dominant tonight. Game high 15.
Got a chance to go one-on-one right here.
Steps back for 3. In your face.
Yep. Not much Chase Walker could do there.
He's just playing on another level this year.
He is. Well, he's a great player. Great college player. He's got a chance to make an NBA roster. Another turnover. Yep. Let's watch this now. Keyshawn's got a bag of tricks. Watch the footwork. He realizes that Chase Walker's got to play off of him. So he pulls up from 3. 2 Ohio kids, by the way. Chase from Columbus, Keyshawn from Cleveland. I think Keyshawn was a catalyst for wanting to play in the NIT.
You said bag of tricks, Fred.
Yep.
He can go outside, he can go inside.
You know what? All he's doing is adding to his NBA resume. It's not automatic he's going to play in the league, but when you play with joy and you show it in times like this in the NIT, it means a lot.
Freeman picked it, Pettiford finished it, draws a foul. It's Auburn basketball.
Well, we saw the 3 ball, and right here you'll see the agility. Take a look right here, hanging in the air. Loves to get to the foul line, went to the free throw line over 200 times. And I think, Matt, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the only guy that made more free throws this season in the power conferences was Cam Boozer. So when the Jay's not going, he's still going to get points.
He lived at the line this year. His 259 free throw attempts, top 15 amongst all players, not just the Power Four.
Exactly.
Which he was even better when you take out some of the mid-major conferences. Now a deep three. Missed it all.
And that one was just wide right, as they say in Buffalo. Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside. Some in our production truck take exception to the wide right.
I forgot.
Coleman off the bounce. Landon Moore into the game for the first time. Played a couple of seasons at Butler. Gives it back to Coleman. Hits a three.
Yep. Good job. Freshman's been impressive. Young man from Aurora, Illinois. In the upstate.
Gonna need more of those three. The great equalizer, as Sir Charles Barkley told us in the first half. But Hall, they have not had an answer for tonight.
Nope. Keyshawn Hall started his career at UNLV. Then he went cross country to George Mason. Last year at Florida Sunshine at UCF. And this year on the Plains.
And everywhere he's gone, he's been a scorer. Oh, what a rejection by Freeman, climbing the ladder with the Spider-Man arms. Pettiford fakes and hits from downtown.
They're feeling it. Auburn on fire right now.
Basket good. Call on the floor is an offensive foul after the shot. So it will go to Illinois State. Largest lead of the game, Fran, for Auburn.
Elijah Freeman climbing the ladder. Don't bring that weak stuff in here. Pettiford from Greenfield, Indiana.
There's a little something around these parts called Hinkle magic, and it dates all the way back to 1928 when these hallowed grounds opened. The Great Barn renamed in 1966 after Tony Hinkle, who coached hoops, football, and baseball. $36 million renovation in 2014 to give an upgrade to a historic landmark and a cathedral of college hoops.
And I think what we need Taylor Tannenbaum to do this weekend is watch the movie Hoosiers, where this place came alive. Jimmy Chitwood, and it was really, as you know, the Milan Miracle. Milan, Indiana, 1954, Bobby Plump. And that was the impetus. A little small school down in Milan, southeastern Indiana, as I remember. And that was the impetus for the great movie Hoosiers.
A lot of the kids in this NIT semifinal have never watched the movie.
It's crazy.
Eric Hinkle, the Tulsa head coach, told us he actually showed a clip of that movie to his team. Ryan Peden is hoping for some late game magic from Illinois State. Taylor Tannenbaum was in his huddle.
Positivity only, you guys, from Ryan Peden in that last huddle. He said, we got to keep making the right play. We're just going to keep it simple out there. You got to keep fighting possession by possession, and he stressed to continue talking out there. If they're going to mount this 20-point comeback, they've got to continue talking.
And I would say, Matt, Jimmy Chitwood's not coming through that door right now.
Ryan Peden, very familiar with Hinkle Fieldhouse. He coached at Butler for a pair of seasons. Helped Butler to their last Sweet 16.
Yes, with Chris Holtman. Well, Ryan's got great bloodlines, as we talked about. John Gross and Chris Holtman, who I believe may be in the audience tonight. Coach Holtman doing a great job up at DePaul.
Boy, is he ever.
Resurrecting that program. John Gross, the new coach at College at Charleston, after a great run at Akron. Oh boy, that pass a little too high. You know what I love? We've been around Stephen Pearl this year. I did some early games. He's so different than his dad. His dad is obviously a great coach, but I love his calm demeanor. And I think these guys have enjoyed playing for him down the stretch of the season.
He's learned a lot, too. Really drinking from the fire hose this year as a first-year head coach in the SEC. The schedule that Auburn played.
I mean, they lost 3 or 4 NBA players.
Yep. And played a top 10 strength of schedule.
Exactly. Turnaround. Here comes the turnaround.
Oh, rejected by Pettiford. And Freeman was going for the poster, draws a foul, and now gripping his left leg, hunched over on the stanchion. Now he's going to try to walk it off a little bit. He is such an electrifying player on both ends of the floor.
It's always dangerous. Yeah, first of all, let's go back and watch this block right here. Pence tries to go up over the top. And then this is always dangerous when you foul a guy. Airborne, certainly not a flagrant one. Good common foul. But
how about Tahad Pettiford at 6'1", Fran, going up to get that block?
No, he's really athletic. Saw him play in high school. He played for a great high school coach, Nick Marinelli, at a Hudson Catholic. You know, went to Hudson Catholic once upon a time? Jim Spinarca. Now, see, I don't want to date myself. But Jim was,
I think we're past that.
Well, I know, exactly. You know, when I talked to Dr. Naismith, when I was out in Lawrence one year.
When you invented the game.
Well, a lot of people think I act like I invented the game, but I didn't. If it wasn't for Dr. Naismith, I would have had to get a job. Blake Mashalik in the game, young man from TCA, Trinity Christian, right up the Dallas Toll Road.
Coleman rejected again. Pettiford.
It's a great move by Coleman, but great defense.
Try to pitch it back to him. There was a whistle in there, and I believe it's going to go against Illinois State and Tyreek Coleman.
The freshman is very impressive. But Tahad Pettiford, back-to-back possessions with a great block. The athleticism of Auburn has kind of reared its ugly head if you're an Illinois State fan right now.
Another long scoring drought for Illinois State. Coming up on 3 minutes without a point. Auburn in the midst of a 7-0 run. They lead at 63-41. And the whistle again against Illinois State. Keep it right here. Auburn just came out blitzing Illinois State in the first half. 7 for 11 from 3, had 15 fast break points, and have not looked back since. Overton had 4 early threes, and he will get 2 shots at the line. Meanwhile, Ryan Peden's team just 1 of 8 in the second half. They've gone cold from distance too, which kept them in the game early.
In the game, they did. Yep, it was a shootout for 20 minutes or so.
Kevin Overton at the line, 2 shots.
Kevin came out of Oklahoma City. One of those guys that Ben McCollum found at First Northwest Missouri State. Ben Drake, after his freshman year, he transferred over to Texas Tech, played with JT Toppin. See the training staff working on Elijah Freeman right now.
Meanwhile, Overton remains in the game, limping a little bit after he came up lame on his calf. Walker drawing a double. Scunberg, step back, over Pettiford, short. Overton corrals. You talked about it, Fran. Stephen Pearl had to cajole his team to play in this tournament.
Yep.
They had a bum first half of their first game against South Alabama, and they have really shined since.
As a former NIT coach, the first game in NIT was brutal. because your team wants to play March Madness.
Yep.
And we saw that, if you're a Tiger fan, they were awful against South Alabama, Richard Riley's club. But, you know, you got to give credit to the upperclassmen because, as Chuck Barkley said, it's basketball. Keep playing. And they have.
And it just seems like they've gotten better with each game.
Sure.
This might be their best performance so far on both sides of the ball, as Walker gets 2 to stop a 4-minute scoring drought for the Redbirds.
Really nice dime drop there by Tyree Coleman. He's impressive. Terrific young freshman. Remember, this Illinois State team built behind 3 really good juniors, Pence, Walker, and Kinziger. Came in together. Good pass.
Mashalik left open. Rarely misses that shot. Scunberg tips it to him. Overton logo. Yes, sir! Overton from way downtown. His 5th 3 for Auburn. And a timeout on the floor.
Watch the tip out. Offensive rebound. Kick out. Watch Kevin Overton. Feeling it.
Well, the 4 teams in this NIT have rich basketball tradition, starting with Tulsa and, of course, the great Nolan Richardson led their Golden Hurricane to an NIT title in 1981.
And then you got Luke Longley, University of New Mexico, the great Doug Collins, first pick in the NBA draft, great Olympian, another great Olympian, and a great Auburn Tiger, and just a great human being. If you haven't gotten to know Chuck Barkley, he's enjoying himself tonight. He'll be busy with the coverage of the Final Four in studio. You see Bruce Pearl right there. I don't know who they're blowing kisses to.
Everybody. Everybody's been coming up to those 2 tonight.
Phil Martelli's over there on the other side. Great Tubby Smith. A lot of good basketball fans have come out here tonight to this.
Yes. Great city to host this event.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
11:25 to go. 67-43 Auburn. Contested 3 results in 3 shots on the foul by Williams-Adams.
Stephen Pearl looked at the freshman and said, "Why? Why?" You know, the entire coaching staff under Bruce Pearl stayed with Stephen Pearl. Stephen bumped up. One of my former players at Providence College, Ira Bowman, now the associate head coach. He played for Rick Barnes at Providence back in the day when Dan Gavitt was an assistant coach. There you see Ira. We tried to get Coach Barnes to play Ira. He transferred to Penn, Player of the Year in the Ivy League, and handful of years in the NBA. Great coach. And we're going to be talking about every single person in this building tonight in the last 11 minutes if this game doesn't get a little closer.
Well, and Coach, you can speak to this maybe better than anybody, how important it was to keep the staff intact.
Yes.
Stephen Pearl becoming a first-year head coach.
Yep.
Speaking of former head coaches, Tubby Smith in the building.
No question, yep. It's not easy. You know, everybody thinks you move over to 18 inches, it's easy. It's not.
Pettiford pitches to the freshman. Williams-Adams pays him off with Auburn's 11th 3 of the game.
I'm a big fan of that young man. Mom was a terrific player. He's not, I don't know what he is. He's really versatile. He's not necessarily a power forward, but he can score inside and out and a great defender.
Kinziger.
Nice. Good job. Yeah.
Nice.
You see that a lot this year. Big guys who post up in the lane like Walker did, without illegally screening, he sets a screen on the driver.
Caden Magwood now in running the point. Here's Hall. Had it wrestled from his grip. And a whistle will go against Illinois State.
Yep. See right here, kick out by Williams-Adams. I want you to watch Wolf on the drive. And Walker sets a great screen for him so that Wolf can get right to the basket.
Magwood getting to his spot. So good in the mid-range.
Yes. He's getting a chance at the end of the season to show what he can do. And, you know, to Stephen Pearl's point, I don't know if he's going to be back at Auburn next year or not, but this is an audition. If he decides he wants to leave, hey, show us what you can do.
Had a season-high 14 points in the NIT opening round victory against South Alabama. Here's Wolf, and he draws a foul on Auburn.
It's a whole different world, Matt. You know, I'm reading my Twitter today. This guy's declaring. That guy's going to put his name in the portal. This guy's announcing he's staying.
Yeah, which has also become this phenomenon.
Yes. My favorite line of the whole transfer portal process, and it goes like this. I really want to thank all my great teammates and coaches and all the great fans and all the great support people. With that being said, that's the line. With that being said, I have entered my name in the transfer portal.
And interestingly, Coach, Illinois State brought back 65% of their returning production.
Yeah.
Which isn't all that much. That was the 10th most in the country this year.
It's crazy. I like the group they have at Illinois State. I think if Brian Peden can keep these guys together, they got a chance to be very good again next year. You know, Chase Walker's a kid that their art schools are, you know, whatever, talking to his agent, whatever, I don't know. But he's so good here at Illinois State. And watching him against an SEC team, I just don't want him to make a mistake and maybe go too high. Because the evaluation process by the high major guys is usually poor. Paying guys for not being able to play at that level.
Sees a double team here, trying to dribble out of it.
Good pass.
Coleman. Back out, Pence, three.
Good basketball. Tyreke Coleman has been really solid tonight.
You guys are talking about the potential future of this young Illinois State team. Tyreke Coleman is one of those guys. I asked Coach to give me a glimpse into Tyreke and what value he adds. Coach Peden called him a separator for the Redbirds in terms of his speed and athleticism.
Yes.
And there's been times where this season Coach has really thrown him into the fire. He mentioned against Southern Cal, he got the start, scored 16 points. So while young, Coach really trusts Tyreke, and he believes if he comes back and when he does come back that there is so much more improvement. He's been big off the bench, but the ceiling is high.
Well, you know, it's great, Taylor. He's really a starter, there's no doubt. And when I watch him, and I could be wrong, he's a role player at the power conference level. And he might get mad at me too, but I'm just seeing what I see. But he's a mid-major star. He really is. And maybe in another year, he's a guy that can step into a Big Ten lineup and play.
And by the way, being a mid-major star used to be a coveted role. A guy would stay for 4 years and lead a mid-major like a Steph Curry to the Sweet 16 or to the Elite Eight.
Or you play another year, you increase your value, you become one of the better guards in the Valley next year, and then maybe you then go to the next level. You know, I can tell you guys right now that have played at the high major level this year who made a lot of money, and they stink. No, seriously. And it's the school's fault for paying guys, you know, who have, like, can't play at that level. Nice play. But anyway, and I'm not talking about Tyreke Coleman. He's a very talented player.
Unbelievable. Who on Illinois State's roster do you feel they really have to protect?
Well, I think Chase Walker for sure. You know, Mason Claybo's a freshman. Johnny Kinziger's a junior. Pence is a junior. Those guys stick out right away.
There's Hall, left it short. It's Pence with the rebound. And knocked out of bounds by Pettiford. That's a guy Auburn wants to keep next year, the way he's played over the final month of the season. 72-53. All Tigers with a trip to the championship on the line. Well, we've said it all night, Fran Fraschilla, that Indianapolis truly is this weekend the epicenter of the college basketball universe. Look at this slate here in Indy.
Yep, so much going on. Obviously, these great games, D2, D3 national championships. My buddy Jason Zimmerman from Emory is in the final of D3. Was a great player for Bob McKillop at Davidson. And Jason will have his Emory team in the finals for sure. NIT championship, Tulsa will play one of these two teams. So much going on. You live here, so you know this. So much going on downtown. The Fan Fest. You walk around. There's a Steak and Shake open 24 hours a day. If it's late at night, it's a happening place.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yes.
You got the Frisco malt last night with the chocolate malt.
Yeah. I saved the chocolate malt for tonight. But you know,
fantastic.
Well, you know this. The volunteers in Indianapolis are fabulous.
Yes.
And,
so many of them required to put all of this on.
Yes. And then the city downtown is such a happening with the hotels, restaurants. Get that out of here.
That was a major rejection by Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee, former Fighting Illini, played for Brad Underwood. Big fella, 7'1".
You take it in inside. That's the land of the trees as Jovic will draw 2 shots, gripping that right shoulder.
Tree just got chopped down in the person of Brandon Lee, young man from Deerfield, Illinois.
These teams have played a lot of games. This is Auburn's 37th game of the season. And assuming the score holds, they'll play 38 before it's all said and done.
We mentioned this yesterday when we watched practice. It was a very lively, upbeat, fun team. As we said, looked like they really wanted to be here. And they've overcome the adversity of the season. You know, if you think about it, that Texas A&M game where the basket didn't count.
Yep.
Split second away from maybe being an NCAA tournament team.
They were, by many accounts, the first team out of the field of 68.
Yep.
First time missing the big dance since 2021. And subsequently, this is their first appearance in an NIT semifinal in program history. Pettiford lob, and Jovic with the alley-oop.
I'll tell you what, Pettiford's only got 12 points tonight, but he has really played a great floor game.
5 assists for the Auburn facilitator. Meanwhile, Coleman is putting on a show. 13 points for the freshman from Aurora, Illinois.
Going toe-to-toe with one of the stars of that Final Four team from a year ago at Auburn, Pettiford.
Williams Adams, lead, block, his second. (75-56). It's been the Tyreek Coleman show in the second half offensively for Illinois State. Drops it off Pence. Walled up by Jovic, still plenty of time. 8 to shoot. Scunberg dancing. Elevating. Great defense by Jovic. Scunberg got his own miss. Pumps, banks it in.
Yeah, good shot fake there by Scunberg, the transfer from North Dakota State. Played at North Dakota State 4 years. You mentioned earlier in this game, 2 North Dakota kids on this Illinois State team. Mason Quabo, the freshman,
who told us he didn't like Bowden Scunberg.
Right.
Because Bowden Scunberg defeated his older brother's high school team in the state championship when Mason was the water boy.
Hard feelings, yep.
But now they're good.
Teammates.
Teammates.
That was the 50th state I got to. State of North Dakota. Maybe.
That was number 50.
That was number 50.
You got to Alaska before North Dakota.
I did. Yeah, this young man, we're talking about Keyshawn Hall tonight. His nickname in Cleveland was Big Guard. He was a lot bigger than he is now. And he could play like a guard at 6'7", and he's shown you some of that tonight, Matt.
Is that part of why you feel, Fran, that he's an NBA player?
Well, what he is he knows how to score. And you know, the NBA now has 18 guys on the team with two-way contracts. Somebody's going to give him a really good shot. This kid, this is like an addition.
No doubt.
Yeah, you know, those Redbird boosters better be ready to go in their wallets because this kid's playing well. And Ryan Peden, to his credit, has given him a big role this year.
Ryan Peden brought back the 10th most returning production from last year. We asked him, how'd you do it at Illinois State? He said, guys just bought into the family atmosphere that we have here, the opportunity to compete in the Missouri Valley, which is still a great mid-major conference, despite the portal and everything else.
Well, you know, because you live 2 hours from there. Bloomington Normal is a great basketball city.
Yes,
you know?
Great arena on campus.
Yes. Go back to the days of Bob Donewald and Rick Lamb and Hank Cornley. I'm dropping some old-time names for you.
You're dating yourself again.
Yeah, I know. Played him in the NCAA tournament when I was at Ohio U.
Jovic spinning against Walker. Boy, is he crafty, the freshman from Bosnia.
They get the Balkan 5 over at Illinois. They'll play in the Final Four. And Bosnia, part of the former Yugoslavia. Oops.
Coleman missed his last two. Has 17 tonight for Illinois State, and we're under 4. Tulsa awaiting the winner of this semifinal for a championship of the NIT on Sunday.
They've moved the ball out too.
Yes, they have.
Haven't they? Look at that pass.
17 assists on 31 made baskets for Auburn.
Yep.
Skunberg finds Walker, fakes, counted in the foul for the big fella. He will shoot on the other side to complete the three-point play. Auburn trying to close it out at Hinkle Fieldhouse for a trip to the title game. I wonder if SVP's ever been to historic Hinkle. He is a basketball guy.
He has been to, yeah, I've seen him at Allen Fieldhouse. I've seen him at Cole, at the old Cole Fieldhouse back in the day at Maryland. Basketball junkie, Maryland Terp.
That dude has done shows in all 4 corners of the globe. A great show he puts on.
No question.
Looking forward to the late night Sports Center with SVP.
Chase Walker has put on a pretty good show tonight, the junior from Columbus, as he checks out. 13-7 tonight for the youngster all Missouri Valley first team.
Some full court pressure here from Illinois State. Barring something miraculous, their season will come to an end with 23 wins. Back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time in over a decade and a half. In Ryan Peden's 4th season. And it will come to an end in their first ever trip to the NIT semifinal. A lot to look forward to on the horizon for the Redbirds. Jovic does sneak it past Claybo.
Yep. He's gotten better as the year's gone on. When he came to Auburn, they thought they were getting a 6'9", 6'10" player. He's a little bit more undersized, but very effective.
Well, ESPN is the home of the women's Final Four, highlighted by all 4 1 seeds back in the Final Four for the second straight year. All 4 of them.
Yep.
Fran Fraschilla just flipping the matchups. We get a rematch of last year's national championship, South Carolina, UConn. Then Texas and UCLA in the nightcap, 9:30 Eastern. Both games on Friday, available on ESPN and, of course, the ESPN app.
Yep. So many great players in that tournament. 4 great coaches.
Speaking of great coaches, we will get Eric Hinkle in his 4th season at Tulsa against Stephen Pearl in his 1st season at Auburn in the championship game on Sunday. Based on what you've seen tonight, we saw Tulsa hit 12 threes. Their offense looked fantastic, as it has all year. Auburn came out and blitzed Illinois State. They too have hit 12 threes. How do you see that one playing out on Sunday night?
Well, I think Tulsa is not quite as athletic at certain spots as Auburn, but they go 10 deep, and they have 10 guys that have scored double figures this year. They're going to have to make some threes the way they did tonight. They were great tonight. But Auburn, obviously, coming out of the SEC, would be the favorite in that game. But Eric Hinkle's done a great job, and I love watching that team play.
It'll be very interesting to see how they match up with Auburn, who was, for all intents and purposes, the first team out of the big dance. By many accounts, a snub. But they have risen past the initial disappointment as Jovic rises to the rim for a 2-hand jam.
Great spin move.
And now they are playing to win this tournament.
Yeah, no question. Kudos to their coach. Not easy to get a team ready for postseason when it's not March Madness. And Stephen Pearl, I've been impressed with him all year. We're going to get a timeout right here. We call this a rolling timeout, just to get some subs in.
It'll be interesting for them, assuming they accept the invite to the suite on Saturday at the Final Four, because
they might not want to go.
They might not, Frank.
I know it.
They were there last year, playing in it, not as spectators. And now this year, they're staying across the street from it.
We are going to put the great Taylor Tannenbaum on that mystery to see if she can find out by Sunday.
After she watches Hoosiers for the first time.
You got to watch Hoosiers, Taylor.
It is well before midnight. I will probably watch it after the turn of midnight. Why not?
Wow.
What else do we have to do in the city of Indianapolis?
Who Jimmy Chitwood is.
You could go to Steak and Shake.
One of those.
One of those.
I have seen clips.
There's a bar down the street, Taylor Tannenbaum, called Plump/Shot. I think you should take your iPad there and watch Hoosiers in the bar called Plump/Shot.
That sounds like a good idea. Get some Kilroy's breadsticks.
Wow.
Complete the night.
There's your Indianapolis knowledge. Here's Michalek walking across midcourt. And the Auburn Tigers, who lost 9 of their final 12 regular season games, have won 4 in a row in the NIT to punch their ticket to the championship, and they will take on Tulsa Sunday night in Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis for a national title. And that'll do it. It's Auburn and Tulsa on Sunday for an NIT championship.
Impressive. The Tigers set about making a statement, It took a little bit to get going in that first NIT game, but Overton, Pettiford, Hall have stepped up and been great leaders, and they are playing great basketball.
Auburn punches its ticket to the NIT championship for the first time in program history. We'll take on a Tulsa Golden Hurricane team that has twice won it all before. They go for the three-peat on Sunday. Our final score, Auburn 88, Illinois State 66. For Taylor Tannenbaum, Fran Fraschilla, our entire crew, I'm Matt Schumacher saying good night from Hinkle as we send you to SportsCenter with SVP.